Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the Lord of the Rings, the adventure card game. So, the question should be answered by the end of this episode as far as just what is this campaign reward. And that will certainly set us down one of two paths as far as how much I really want to play of the rest of this game. Obviously, there is the Shadows Fall campaign with 5 quests, so there's plenty of gameplay there, and then there is also the Witch King's Grasp, so there's plenty of campaign to play there. But whether or not I would want to, say, come back and play the quest a second or third time to unlock potentially 2,000 to 4,000 fellowship points is going to be the real question. And as far as I can tell, the Shadows Reach story is really just the story of The Hobbit, not Lord of the Rings. The last quest level was very difficult, took me 3 different tries, so I shouldn't spend too much time trying this. Or I shouldn't waste too much time before trying this. Bilbo is free, but now you face retribution from his former captors. His only hope of salvation is to flee down the nearby Anduin and seek refuge with the elves of Lorien. Okay, let's see how that plays out.
To rescue Bilbo Baggins from Mirkwood spiders, you fought bears, a monstrous slug, met the treacherous Smeagol, and much more. You've discovered that the great spiders are in league with a host of orcs, collecting slaves for some devilry to the south. You managed to free Bilbo from their orcs and their captain, Ulfthak. Escaping on a fast-flowing stream, the current has taken you several miles before you're able to swim onto dry land. Looking to the northeast, sight of distant torches confirms what you fear, that Ulfthak and his minions are in pursuit. Bilbo shakes with cold. You must find some way to reach the river Anduin and get the old hobbit to safety. After following the bank for some miles, you catch the sound of pounding ahead. You soon come upon a terrible sight. A hill troll has beaten 2 yawning fishermen to death, and now looks to be deciding which to eat first. Lapping against the shore is what you're looking for, a large fishing raft.
So it definitely seems like a dangerous land and a dangerous time as we go through this whole story, but also seems like they're stretching to find reasons to give us a reason actually just to play the card game. Inherently, they've created a very bad situation in the sense that there just is not much of a reason to play. Like, every other card game barely has any story at all, or at least if there is a story, it's very secondary. So you would just jump in the game and start playing. They've effectively trained the players in this game, even as far as we've gone, and ended up just made it so we expect a paragraph of text for 4 to 5 minutes of text being read to us before we're even willing to get into the gameplay mechanic. Alright, so if we do this, then we can attack this. And we don't have to deal with this character. That being said,
what have I got in my pockets?
Steal 1 energy from Sauron. So everything tells me I should probably play this first. Okay. Then I should probably play this. And then I should probably do this. And then do this again. Okay. Do this. Give him a bunch of energy. Activate this. Okay. Right. One block. And one attack. Do this. Give this guy block ability. Give this guy extra attack ability. Go ahead and kill that. Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like there's too much of a variety to be played here. If anything, it just seems like you have to focus fairly exclusively on going in defense mode. Or, yeah, it's pretty much just going in defense mode and then finishing whatever your challenge is. See, I just don't think... Well, this guy does have a block, so if I was to put this guy in defense mode, then that would potentially allow me to summon something else. Just preparing for the next fight before we travel.
You struggle to manage the unfamiliar vessel as it lurches and wobbles on a narrow stream. After some hours, the tributary widens at last to connect with the mighty river Anduin. You carefully guide the raft through the eddies that roil in the junction of the two currents, and soon find yourself rapidly floating south from the great river. Suddenly, an orc arrow lodges itself in your raft with a thud. Cruel shapes move on the forested eastern shore, easily keeping up with your clumsy raft. Cursing the persistence of orcs, you reluctantly steer towards the more turbulent western side of the river, hoping to put more distance between the raft and the enemy archers. Alas, recent rainfalls in the misty mountains have given the river fuel, and the rapids soon become treacherous. Very treacherous.
It almost seems like we would get an option to split the path here, but I kind of know eventually we're going to end up in the same place. Resolve every hazard to continue downriver. Bilbo must survive. Interesting that we have completely different art here. That being said, this different art only makes sense, like a lot of this game, if there was more people playing online, or anybody really playing online. Grant 2 to every objective. Okay, so is there any way to make hay with this? Let's see. Well, let's not play that right now because it doesn't seem to matter too much. Makes a lot more sense to do that first. All of these characters have just like ranged attacks. He's gonna refill this in 3 turns, but I don't think there's much I can do otherwise. Anyways, so... Could have stolen an energy from him with Bilbo's ability. Alright, well, we can destroy that. 5 progress to 1 random character. Discard. We'll have to discard one of these. And I guess it just makes sense to increase this to a 2, because you kind of want every character to be at least 2 because of block. And I either end the phase now or I attack, and I think it probably makes a lot of sense to attack. Each player sheds 1 card at the end. Plus 1 threat. Deal 1 damage to 1 random character. Adding to threat is the worst thing that can happen. You see, next turn he's going to activate this ability, or this turn he activates that ability. Which guess that means move here is to
My eyes see everything.
do this. There goes my attachment. Activate his ability.
My eyes
Another
see
character.
everything.
So we have like 5 we can do as far as damage. So 1, 2, 3. Then put that in defense mode. And put that in defense mode. And there's nothing else to do, so we'll leave it at that. Okay. One more hazard gone. And brings back another hazard. Resolve every hazard. Reduce each hand to 3 at the end. We don't want to do that. And to deal 1 damage to a random character. It's not as big of a deal as shedding cards are.
I say no man.
Cancel the next event card. Okay. Again, I don't think I can do anything, so in the phase, it doesn't seem like he'll throw any enemies at you though. So once you've just cleared out the field, you seem to be in a decent position. And we'll continue to test that theory.
Leg, double quick.
Okay. Attack there. Attack there. Use your ability. Probably put this guy in defense mode. Put this guy in defense mode. And then I think we're in a good position. Put that in defense mode too. Then you could attack with this. Then you can put that in defense mode. In a lot of ways, this defense mode is very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! And particularly original Yu-Gi-Oh! Like when it first came out over 25 years ago, where you could just put monsters in defense mode very easily and it would always stop someone's attack because you could only attack once, or you could only summon one monster per turn, and it really slowed down the game and was very predictable. Eventually Yu-Gi-Oh! Evolved quite a bit, and putting a monster in defense mode these days is basically a joke. You'd almost never do it, but we don't have that evolution in this case.
Barely surviving the turgid rapids. You're overjoyed to see the wider Anduin ahead. You fervently hope orcs have given up pursuit and returned to their decrepit tower. You'll keep to the river until you reach the banks of Lorien. The elves will surely shelter you, and allow Bilbo to recover from his ordeal. Lost in thoughts of the Golden Wood, you fail to notice the change in the river until it's too late. Without warning, the raft with a wooden screech and halts. The jolt throws you forward, and several bags are thrown into the river. At first, you're confused by the impact, but realize the widening of the river has shallowed the water. Enough that you're able to wade into the water to retrieve your packs. When a roar suddenly erupts from the eastern bank, your enemy's plan is laid bare. The orcs knew about this ford and have waited for this moment. The howls intensify as the orcs and goblins emerge from the tree line and rush into the shallow waters.
Yeah, and there's just like nothing I have to even say about any of that. Deny the crossing to hold your foes at bay until you can escape upon the water. Bilbo must survive. See, this would summon Haldar for 6. I think we have to do that. I think that makes a decent amount of sense. Orcs rush into the shallow waters and summons one random orc. So we just have a massive amount of orcs. And first thing you would have to attack would be this. So steal an energy from Sauron. Then we need to start thinking, what can we kill? Pursuit to every orc. If we killed this one, they no longer have pursuit. Okay. Well, actually, I think that may have worked somewhat well. Can we get to 6? If we do 3, and then 2, then 1. I think we can. 3. 2. And then 1. Aid from Lorien. I guess pause now if you want to read this. I'm trying to save some time here. That was several cards. So this could play for free, this could play for free. Do we have any other Sylvian cards to play? If anything, maybe I just save those cards for the next turn.
My axe swings too.
Yeah, we've got a strategy now for perhaps the final battle. We just hold on to these cards, but maybe we can't hold on to the cards too. That might very well be the situation. Deal 3 damage to Bilbo. That seems oddly specific. Let's go ahead and heal him up. And makes a lot of sense to just eliminate that guy. Should probably play that last. Should probably put this guy in defense mode. That makes the most sense. This guy's health is getting a little low. Let's see. I guess we'll just attack with that one.
Come back.
Well, we could make significant progress here. We can't win on that. So I think there's real argument to kill this guy first. He's got block. So it took the entirety of all of that to just get that far. Yeah, and there's nothing else I can do. This is another Sylvanian. So if we can keep the Sylvanians cards, and we could use this, we could potentially summon quite a few characters. But that's probably a pipe dream, too. This is a good guy to put in defense mode. Right. Before we do anything else, let's steal another energy. Dangerously close to losing. Right. 2 there. We use the energy. 2 there. 2 there. One there. I was going to need to get rid of somebody anyways. So that actually works for me. Hook up that guy so he heals himself. This is the last character that's not a Sylvanian. Complete the goal and travel.
The golden haze of Lorien is finally in sight.
One would hope this is the
Weary
last
words
encounter, but
somber.
who
You
knows?
settle the spell on a bank of soft grasses and marigolds. Ahead, the edge of the golden wood is blurred by a light haze, as if looking into a dream. Beautiful and perilous is that place. A sanctuary for those who come with peace in their hearts, an ossuary for those that come with violence. The end of your journey in sight. The oh so familiar thunder of heavy boots nearly breaks your resolve. Furious that you escaped his trap at the ford, Ulfthak has crossed west of the Anduin with a strong force sped for days to intercept you. They emerge from a nearby pine wood like a stain on the green field. Your tired frames are no match for their strong legs, and Ulfthak's host easily move between you and the trees. In baleful cacophony, the orcs howl as they attack. Yet, did you hear something else above the din? The call of the clear horns, and of horns answering.
Something weird here in the timeline here, because it was definitely giving me the feeling that this was a chase sequence that was taking maybe hours at most, and yet it says here he has sped for days to intercept you. So we've apparently been just going down this river for days and days, which that's not very high action for a story. So we're at the final encounter. Good. Defeat Ulfthak and his minions. Ulfthak arrives in 2 turns. Summon 1 guardian of the forest, location specific. Has gold, guard, stalwart, and ranged. Okay, that might be useful. This gives 1 to Sauron. This increases our threat level, that's going to be a problem. Certainly, we need to get rid of that this very first turn, otherwise we're going to just lose in 6 turns or so. And my whole strategy, we have all these cards, but I don't think we can particularly play them. Who would we specifically want to make sure is healthy? Store 2 health to 1 character. Guess we'll start with this. Then this. This again. Then we'll get rid of that immediately. Stealth character. I guess you put that in defense mode. If we play this when Ulfthak shows up, that's probably our best use. Attack with this, attack with this, and attack with this. That worked well. We're up to 45. Each player discards their hand and sheds 2 cards. Oh man, so there's my whole strategy out the window. I had this wonderful strategy. We've been setting it up for multiple rounds, and it doesn't matter. And that's really the only place I think where a strategy in this kind of game would have actually occurred. I have like 1 card remaining. 2. So yeah, I really am just left with the feeling that there's just no strategy in this game to really be had outside of just deck building. It is a deck building game, so that shouldn't be super surprising, but it is a little surprising. There really isn't anything else to even do here. Put things in defense mode. Put other things in defense mode. Get steal energy. And I guess we've set ourselves up very nicely here, but I really wouldn't want to summon something here to replace one of these characters. Defeat Ulthak and 7 orc units. They all have block and guard. At the end he summons another orc unit. Is there any way we could actually pull this off? Deal 2 damage per player to that guy. Move block from every Ulthak champion. Reduce the enemy to 1 health. Reduce 1 enemy to 1 health. So I guess maybe if I'd saved up a whole bunch of fate, that might make some sense here. Bilbo must survive. These characters must survive. This guy still has block, so he makes a lot of sense for him to be in block mode. This guy still has block, so it makes a lot of sense for him to be in block mode. This guy doesn't matter, so putting him in block mode makes sense. I'm still getting some kind of achievement for using his ability multiple times. Alright. I guess it makes sense to put that in block mode. And put that in block mode. But this is where it's going to start to fall apart. Guess you put this here. Maybe heal this character. Well, see, wait, there's something weird here. I can only have 7 characters on the field, but he's got 8 characters on the field. So, yeah, there's definitely a disconnect. Alright. This ranged character, I guess, could have attacked. In summons one more character, so let's do this.
You can't escape.
Do this. Let's do this. With a pained grunt, Ulfek falls back while shouting at his minions to kill you all. You have a feeling you haven't seen the last of him. So now we must defeat 7 orc units. How in the world do we do that? My only hope here, I guess, is to potentially just have a lot of block and a lot of defenses. We've got plenty of energy and resources. If only there was a way to ready this character once again. This guy's ranged, but nobody is at 2. This is the last character I can even play. I don't have any more cards left. So stealing resources at this point wouldn't even matter. We still don't have a single character we can kill. Okay. So I could summon this character. And this would do 2 damage to every Ulfek champion if we could get to 4. Can we get to 4? I think we can. We did this.
This one.
And then did this. Okay. That gets rid of one guy. Nope, it doesn't even get rid of one guy. The real danger here is that they would just all then attack Bilbo, but I guess they can't all attack Bilbo, can they? Heal this guy back up. That's one down. It's actually better just to attack these guys, isn't it? Just do that. We're running into a problem where there's only 2 voice lines around these characters. So they're repeating the same voice lines over and over again. Well, the good news is we're going to survive. I think we're just going to win here. Yeah. Does seem to me like if you just attack here, you'll win. Wait a minute, why did that not finish? Must defeat 1 orc. I guess 1 more orc. And see, this Harried by Fire quest I guess doesn't even do anything. Right, well, that was the last orc. I got 2 achievements for that. I assume one of those is completing the entire campaign.
Several weeks the old hobbit is convalesced in Lorien. What a place, and what rest it has been. Beautiful, eternal, majestic, and somehow lit by gentle sorrow and longing places. Where Rivendell, like its master, stands uniquely between the immortal and the natural. Lorien is utterly immortal. A place impossible for mortals to truly understand, especially hobbits. Well, Bilbo's journey to this place has been altogether unexpected, entirely circuitous. He was glad to have seen the Golden Wood. The place strangely soothed the secret dark sometimes his heart, as the abyss may pull one who stares into it. Splendid as Lorien was, Bilbo felt healed and was ready to move on. He longed to see Dale and the lonely mountain, and the thought of Rivendell pricked a homesick pang in his soul.
So they totally skipped over any part of the story that didn't have any action in it and just jumped to the part that ended either all of the Hobbit or at the least all of the Unexpected Journey chapter, maybe there's an entire book called The Unexpected Journey. That doesn't really seem like that's the entirety of the Hobbit story though.
The creature glanced furtively down the land of golden hills. Even at night, the unhealthy glow placed out its eyes. And even at a distant the air placed out its lungs. The thief, the miserable trickster, back it gone into that place. And the creature lost the trail. It wringed long fingers of misery. Cursing right above, sniffling and sobbing, it crawled down the stony slope, staying in the darkest shed possible. The creature considered returning to the forest, but knew in its heart of hearts time there had passed. There was something in the south, something the creature could not define. Something better. Like instant smell of fish. A sense that tasted like metal. Like a tinge of precious. South. The creature turned to follow the rocky bank. It preferred the shadows carved by moonlight, and it soon disappeared into the deeper shadows that lay to the south.
So I guess this is just foreshadowing. Once again, we have a very different looking animation around Smeagol, Golem, or whatever you call him. So we got a hero reward and a different kind of ending here that give us the reward. So apparently we got a specific ability for Arwen in that we used Arwen's upkeep ability 50 times. I wonder if they have to do that in one campaign or if that's just throughout the entirety of the game. And this has unlocked Grace of the Elder. As far as 2 more cards, 2 very likely decent cards or really good cards. Then we're just back to the same old orb. So we get 1,000 fellowship points for completing this 5th quest. Nothing unexpected there. For our first completion, we've unlocked 2 more cards, or 2 copies of the same card. And then we didn't complete the quest with every hero in play because one of the heroes was killed at the last second. We didn't complete the quest with Bilbo at full. We did use a troll at the troll for a raft. We defeated the hill troll or traveled before the second round ended, which apparently I guess that means that was pretty easy. And then we used Bilbo's steel 5 times from Sauron. And then we didn't defeat Ulthak's champion in the same round that they entered play, which I don't know how that really would have happened. There was definitely a build-up to an amazing strategy there, but you would have had to have, I guess, kept your threat level lower. We're now up to 23,000 fellowship points. So I guess that means it would be doable to grind out fellowship points. So that's the entirety of the campaign. What was the campaign reward? The campaign reward for first completion was just Sting. 2 more cards, which it didn't even really show us that. And I think that kind of firmly establishes that I don't really have an interest in trying to do each of these quests a second or third time. You'd have to do a lot of grinding to just unlock cards, maybe. Customizations, definitely. If we're unlocking cards in a different way and we don't actually need to save up fellowship points to unlock cards, then we'll have potentially too many fellowship points by the time we're done with the last 2 campaigns. Which that is, I guess, the other question, certainly, as far as whether there are any more campaigns that are going to unlock. This would be 50,000. This would be 50,000. And I assume anything that's 8 or above in threat level is a hero. And obviously these cards don't have threat levels. So you can't have a really, really low threat level. Like what would be If you have to have 3 heroes, what would be the smallest? We see 1 7 and then 2 8s. So, best case scenario, you're talking 23 threat level before you even start playing. If I do have to unlock all these cards, I probably could do that by the time I'm done. That being said, you do have this problem, again, with there not being an active multiplayer player base, in that if I were to unlock all these cards even now, I'd have to build new decks and play these new cards to figure out if they're really playable, and then once I've gained that familiarity with the cards, I would probably be very close to being done with the main story and all these campaigns. We are unlocking new cards, obviously, because previously it was 23 with 3 cards or 4 cards. Now we're at 23 with 7 of 8 cards. And it's not super surprising that we're getting more and more Sauron cards showing up. If anything, I think they've done an admirable job of having some variety around these enemies. I really thought it was just going to be spiders and orcs at one point, and they've managed to make wolves, they've managed to have a lot of named characters, they've managed to have a lot of varieties, so it isn't just one type of orc over and over again. So, yeah. Although I don't know how much I can really compliment the makers of the digital game for probably just remaking cards that already existed. What we didn't get is a new adventure here. So, as far as I can tell, they only ever made one adventure, and then they abandoned the game. And we didn't get a new campaign. And we didn't get a new quest in said campaign. Which means there is only the Shadow's Fall and the Witch's Grasp. So we're talking maybe 10 more hours of gameplay, then another 3 encounters. I assume these encounters are the same length, or just about the same length as quests, but a lot more difficult. Undoubtedly, we may just run through these quest encounters and fail at all 3 of them and just be done with it. There's less reason than ever to come back and try and play the tutorial for a 3rd victory. I think we did do that for everything else. This nuanced thing, unlock the deck, and we haven't seen anything else unlock a deck other than the tutorial. So if we hadn't done any of the tutorial at all, we would have only had the starter deck. Can you even see them? Yeah. Each one of these decks here were unlocked by doing the tutorial. Yeah, undoubtedly though, I am dropping the ball by not engaging with the deck building. I just don't really want to bother with it, and there really isn't a lot here that would push me to bothering with it. So, yeah. I really wanted the reward for the campaign to be somewhere around 50 to 250,000 fellowship points. If all of a sudden just putting in the 5 hours it takes to do a campaign gives you that bonus reward, then I could potentially unlock every card after doing even one campaign. But effectively what I'm really asking for is for them to have come in and rebalance the game for single player, after they had obviously given up on it. And this is a problem with a lot of Asmodee digital games, is that they translate board games in a cheap and quick manner. It doesn't make a terrible game, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of long-term commitment to it or long-term support around it. So yeah, I seriously doubt, since we have only 12 achievements out of 73, I seriously doubt I'm going to get them all. Unless there was just a massive amount of achievements for unlocking cards, like one achievement for every card you unlocked. And then maybe a handful of achievements that will just be unlocked by playing the rest of the campaign. The biggest problem here, though, is the campaign has gotten really repetitive and boring, and I don't expect this next campaign to change much in that. And what's making it boring is just we're playing the same strategies over and over again, of mostly putting your characters in defense and just trying to survive long enough. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's a link down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.